After this video, you will be able to create your very own forms. I will show you how to create a simple and a multi-step form containing every possible field there is. I will also be showing you how to track the entire user journey, how to add hCaptcha, how to use a signature field, how to send the entire form as PDF, how to set up emails, and of course, how to make calculations within a form. If you want to support me and to get the free plugin before we're upgrading to the pro version, go to wp.discount/JetFormBuilder. This link is also in the description of this video and in the comments. And then we are at the website of JetFormBuilder, the pricing plans. Now we also have a lifetime pro license for unlimited websites. Now that's of course a no-brainer if you're going to use this on a lot of websites or also the websites of your clients. So I'm really happy with that. But in this tutorial, we're going to start with the free version. Where can you find it? Well, just scroll all the way down. Then we have over here the FAQ. Click on that one. And then we find over here, do you have a free trial? And then we click on this link, wordpress.org. And then we press over here on download. Then log into your WordPress website. If you're still logging in using WP admin, that's not a very safe way, so please watch my tutorial over here and I'll guide you through the process of securing your WordPress website completely free because you don't want to get hacked. Then we go over here to plugins, add plugin. Press on upload plugin, select the file we've just downloaded, jetformbuilder.zip, and press install now. Activate plugin. Excellent job. Now on the left side, we can go to JetFormBuilder. Just click on it. And then we are here where we can create a new form imported from a JSON file generated with AI or imported from HTML. We'll be talking about that some other time, importing from HTML from JSON and generating with AI. I already did that in my previous tutorial about JetFormBuilder and it's actually the same, so you can just watch that if you want it. But in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can create your dream form manual on your website because it's the best way to learn how to create forms with JetFormBuilder. So we press over here on add new form. The first thing we need to do is adding in a title, of course. So let's start with a really simple contact form needed on almost any website. So we're going to call this just the contact form. And then we can select a predefined layout. You can do that, but we're going to start from scratch so you know exactly how JetFormBuilder works. On the right side, we also see some interesting things, and we'll be doing that once the form has been completed, so you can see the changes live. And of course, you want to save all your form records or entries, so we're going to keep this enabled. Then we press over here on start from scratch, and we press on replace. This first one is the hidden field. We don't need it on this contact form, so I'm just going over here and press on delete. Then we have the simple text. Well, that's very nice of them to add one, but I'm going to delete it because what we want to have is two columns and they're the name, email, telephone number, and all these things. So what we need to do is click over here, press on this plus icon. We're going to search for the columns. Click over here and use the 50-50 to have two columns or whatever you want to create. I want to have two columns. Then press on this plus icon, add block, and then we just use this text field. And if you don't see it, just type in text field. Click on it. I'm going to show you later on where all the fields are because it's also there. But let's first do this one. The field label should be name. Then you can see on the right side that the field label will change and also the form field name will also change immediately. Then we have the field description. How may we address you? And this is something people will see on the front end. The field label and over here the field description. There's also some neat thing we can do with conditional information. So we can click over here on this database icon because maybe when people are logged in already using a member website or e-commerce site, then you can use a preset. For the source, we're going to use the user, get the user ID from the current user, and then the field should be your display name or, for example, first name. Let's use first name. Leave the restrict access on and press on update. And then if someone is logged in, they will see their first name automatically be filled in. That's just very nice. And of course, if they never log into your website, you don't need it, but it does no harm because when people are not logged in, they can still fill in their name. There are a lot of more things we can fill in on the right side. I'm going to walk you slowly through them throughout this entire tutorial, so don't worry. The next thing we want to have is their email address. So we click next to it, press on this plus icon, and if you want to see all the fields, just press on Browse All. And then we see on the left side all the fields available inside of the JetFormBuilder. We're going to use them all and also the Pro extension, so it's going to be really great. But what we want over here is an email field. So we just search for email, and we only get the text field. So click on this one, then change the field label for email address, something like this. There we go. It automatically changes. And then the default value, why not just put it in there? The source, the user, get it from the current user, and it should be their email. Press update. Very nice. Oh, I forgot the field description. Let's also add in over here. How can we reach you? And then we scroll down and we have the field type, and let's change that one to email. And this way it will validate an email address. If not, the users will see an error. There you go. Very useful. Oh, first of all, this submit button needs to move down. So we're just going to drag it below this one. Makes sense, right? And next, I want to add in a field to ask them about a phone number. So I can click over here and press there and click duplicate. The problem is it now is in the same column. That seems to be okay, but when I open up this form on my mobile device, it will be stacked, and then I get name, phone number, and then my email address, and then the other one. So what I want to do is delete this one. I want to create another block over here, which is the column block, and use the layout again. Then we're going to add in over there a text field because we don't have a separate phone field. If you search for it, you don't have one. So we're just going to use the text field, click on it, and then we're going to change the field label to phone number. And the description is, how can we talk to you, for example. And then on the right side, we scroll a little bit down because we're going to change the field type over here to tell. Now the field will only accept numbers. Then we select this one and move it down one more. Great. And then the final one over there is add-in block. It's going to be a text field also, and the field label will be order number because we are in an e-commerce website. And then the description. Now what we want to make sure is that the name and the email address are mandatory. If they're not filled in, a user cannot send the form. How to do that? It's really easy. Just click on your name field and click over there. Also with email, there we are, make it required. Don't make the phone number required, as some people do not want to give out their phone number. Also the order number, if someone just wants to ask a question, then don't make this one required. Then the last thing we need to add in here is to add a text field so people can add their questions. To do that, just click over here, press the plus icon, and we're going to search for the text area field. There we go, click on it. Now we have a big, nice field so people can ask their questions, and the field label will be your question. And then we can also add in a description which says, now for this field you might want to add in a max length, for example 5,000 symbols, because you don't want to have entire pages or information. Or maybe you do, I don't know. Well done. Now we click over here to make the submit button all the way down. Maybe you also want to add in a CAPTCHA so you don't get all the spam. So we press over here again, press on this plus icon and enter in the CAPTCHA. Let's do the CAPTCHA container, put this a little bit up. Then we need to select the CAPTCHA provider that we need to set up at the settings. So for now, we're just going to use the hCaptcha. You can always switch to a reCAPTCHA, hCaptcha, or turnstile, or friendly CAPTCHA, whatever you use for your websites. If you didn't use anything before, let's use hCaptcha. It's pretty easy. Just click over here, go to the dashboard of sites. Then we click over here on sign up. Then fill in your email address and the country. And then we press over here on submit. Then click on the verification link in your email. And there we are. There we're going to set this guy up with the hCaptcha account. If you don't know what this is, follow my tutorial over here and I'll show you exactly how to use it, how to set it up, and how to implement this for security reasons on your PC. Very important these days. We click over here to set a passkey, and after that we press over here on continue. There is a pro plan for $100 a month. Of course, there is a free one. Over here, click on continue with free trial. We need a side key and a secret key per domain. So we press over here on generate. Then this secret key will be used for all your domains. So you gotta copy this one and save it somewhere in your password manager. Then we press over here on continue. Then click on add site. Add in a name. Then add in your domain without the HTTPS or www and press this icon. And then we scroll down to the settings. Well, the hCaptcha behavior will be reset after 2 weeks of free pro trial that we are in right now. So we are now at the 99.9% passive, but in 2 weeks it will be reset to the always challenge. Well, you can choose whatever you want. I'm going to with the always challenge, and then we press on save. To make it work with JetFormBuilder, just copy this side key. And then I don't want to put in my side key and secret key every single time when opening up JetFormBuilder. So I'm going to add it to the global settings. So click over here, open link in new tab. And then we are over here at the JetFormBuilder settings. Add in the hCaptcha side key, paste it in, and also paste in your secret key. And then press save. Then we don't need to save anything over here. We just go on the right side and press on publish. Now go back to all the forms. Now if we click over here on our logo, and then we are here back at the overview of all our forms. If we want to place this on our website, well, you can copy the shortcode. But if you're using Elementor, you don't be needing a shortcode because you have a widget inside of Elementor. Then on my contact us page, I want to have the JetFormBuilder. So I'm just going to search for the widget called JetForm. Drag and drop it over here, release it. Then we're going to select the right form, in this case, the contact form we've just created. And there is our beautiful form. The first thing you notice is that the name and the email address are already fetched from the database because I'm logged in with this website. Exactly how we want it. Then we can, of course, style it. How to do that? Well, on the left side, we can see the form settings. Then over here, we can change the required mark. Standard is just the asterisk. For example, a star, you can change it to anything you want. And finally, we have the submit type. Now, if you put it on page reload, every time someone fills in your form, press on submit, the entire page will be reloaded. But if we put it on Ajax, then only the form will reload, and it's way more smoother than reloading the entire page. When you're going to style your form, you can just style it the way you would expect within Elementor. Just go to your label, for example, change the typography, change the color of the labels. Also for the description, we can change the typography to our secondary, something like this. Change the color, just style it the way you want it. But then I just want to have a little bit of space between the titles and the input fields. Then I just go to the label and add in just a little bit bottom margin of 10 pixels over there. And then also at the description, we go over here and I'm going to add in some top margin of 10 pixels. Of course, you can change the style of any kind of input field using this JetFormBuilder within Elementor. Let's go with the submit button finally and change this one. I want to change the background color to be my accent color. Then the text color going to be primary, typography, primary. Then I'm going to add in a lot of padding because this is just not very nice. I'm going to put it on 10 and then on the left and right 25. There we go. And then I don't want to have a border. Now it looks way more like all my other call to actions on my website. And then last but not least, we can also change over here the messages. Scroll down, we can change the success message, the background color, the typography, error message. I want to change this. And then for the color, I just want to use my accent 2 color. Great. Do no more. We press on publish. And when I open up my website in a private window, so I'm not logged in, you can see that my name and email address is not filled in. But here's the form. It looks beautiful. That's the way we can create a very simple contact form for your website. So let's now create a more advanced form. If you want to create a new form, you can create it from scratch, but you can also just duplicate this form. Hover over it, press on duplicate. Then we're going to press on edit and we can change the name and everything inside of it. Now we're going to create a more advanced form. So press on this plus icon. We have all these JetForm fields. Let's just start on top. We have the advanced choices field. You can just click on it and it will be added in on the bottom. Then we can select predefined layouts. Well, if you want to use images with controls, just click on it. First, we need to add in a label over there, or over there, just type in the question you want to ask your customer. Just an easy question to break the ice. Then we're going to change the options of this question. You can click in multiple places. First is the option card over here, just the advanced choice. Then we can click over here to change this image. And then we can click also over here to change this label and the option. Let's first click on this entire card and justify it in the center. Then we're going to change the value. So from change to book name, the purpose of life is just have fun. Then we click over here on the image and we press over here on replace to change the image. There we are. Now we can also just grow your image, make it bigger. Let's change the label over here. Just double click on it and type in and just have fun. And then we're going to change the second and third option also. And there we are. And then we're just going to style a little bit. So we're going to put all these things in the center. So justify it over here. And this looks way better. If you want to add in a description, you can do it over here on the right side, or just leave it empty and then no description will be put out on the front end of your website. And now your contact form, it will look a little bit like this. You can click one of these and then that's your answer. Looks pretty great. Just a second, we'll be using the calculated field because we first have to add in more fields so there can actually be a calculation. Now, the CAPTCHA container, we have talked about this one. And then we have the checkbox field. Let's drop it in over here. There we are. I don't know why it's all up here. Let's put it down, 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 down. And then we have a simple checkbox field. How does it work? Well, first we're going to add in a label over here. And then we can add in multiple checkboxes. You have different kind of options for the checkboxes. You can use manual input, posts, terms, meta field, and generate dynamically. All these things are available. If you just want to create a manual input, click over here on manage items. We can just create simple, different kind of options for our multi-select box. So the label, first label will be, then you can give in a value for the calculation. Second option, and once you have created all your options, you press over here on update. There we are, and now we have simply created our multiple checkbox. And then the checkboxes will look like this. You can check everything you want because it's a multi-checkbox. If you just want to have one checkbox, then we need to go to the radio buttons. We'll be opening that in just a second. Now let's go to the next one, which is the color picker field. That's basically it. And then the color picker looks a little bit like this. You can click on it and change it to any color that you want, or fill it in manually, or use the eyedropper. Really great. Then we go to the next one, which is the date field. And then we can also change the condition for this field. So if you scroll down, you can change the starting from date and the limit dates to. That's pretty nice if you want to use it for something else. Then this is how it works. You can fill it in manually, or you can just open up, press on this button, and you can open up this calendar to change it to anything you want. All right, let's go to the next one, which is the date field. We also have a date time field. As the word also says it, you have the possibility to add in a time. Then this is how it looks on the front end. You can fill it in manually again, or you click over here and we can change the date. You can change the year over here. And then we can also change the time in here. So that's just a little bit different than the time field. Then we also have in here a hidden field. If you use the hidden field like this, you can use it to create some calculations, for example. Because of this hidden field, it will be taken on with the calculation. So for example, let's add in some shipping costs. And then we're going to change the field value to all kind of current postings, but you can also do a manual input. And if you then put, for example, 25 in, then this will be $25 for shipping costs for the calculation later on. So that's when you can use it. Then we also have the media field. Let's put it in over here. And of course, this is the place where you can add in media to your forms. For this field, you can also change the user access. Is anyone allowed? Like this one, only registered users to upload files, edit posts, or any users. If you just keep it on this one, everyone will be able to upload something to your website. Change the maximum allowed files to upload. Default is 1. If you want to have more, you can just put on 5, for example. Then the maximum size in megabyte, I would say 5 megabyte. And then you can also change the size message. And this is very important, which MIME types are allowed. If you, for example, only want to upload images, just type in image and you can see all these options for all your images. Well, just use JPEG. And then we also have PNG. Maybe you want that. Well, you know how it works. Just select everyone you want. And maybe you also want to add in a PDF. Then just add it in over here. This is how it looks on the front end. Upload a nice picture of yourself. And then a user can also delete it and upload more pictures to it. The number field is exactly like I said. It's a number field. For example, how would you rate your life? Well, on the right side, we can change the default value and we can add in a minimum value of 1 and the maximum value in this case is 10. And we can also define the steps. I just want 1 step in there. Then on the front end, it looks like this. And then you can just add in over here. It won't go higher than 10. And if you put in 5.5 and then you change it, it will jump back to the whole numbers. Excellent. And then of course we have the radio field. If you drag and drop this over here, we can change this to manual input post terms meta field of dynamically. Let's use the manual input, press on manage items, and you can add in multiple options. Just exactly the same as the checkbox field, but now you can only use 1 option. And then on the front end, you can only select 1 of them. What I also really like in here is the range field. It's like the same as the number field, but now you can add in a little slider. 0 is generally awful and 100 is almost perfect. Just a beautiful slider, which you can style, of course, within Elementor. And then we also have the repeater field, which is pretty amazing. Now within this field, you can add more fields. So just let me give you an example. You just go with the text field over here, drag and drop it in here. For example, the name, and then we're going to add another text field on the right of this one. And there we're going to add in a channel URL. And then also I want this over here. Just very simple like this. And then on the front end of your website, you see this. What are your favorite WordPress YouTubers? You can press add new, fit it all in. And once you have done this, you can press on add new to add in another one. Or just delete one that you've already created. It's a very nice option to create more extensive forms. You can use all kinds of fields inside of the repeater field. So that's pretty amazing and very flexible. Then we go over here, after the repeater field, we have the select field, which is just a drop down, pretty simple. And then you click on manage items and you can add in all the options that you want again. And on the front end, it looks like this. Great. And then we also have the switcher field. With the switcher field, you can do some nice things with conditional logic. Don't hit this switch. And then you can also use, again, the calculated values of this switch. Then you could do something like give me the VIP treatment, yes or no. And then the value will be $50 extra. And then the switcher just looks something like this. You can just enable or disable this and style it within Elementor. Now we can use this switch to create some conditional logic. How to do that? Add the conditional block. And in this block, you can put in anything you want. For example, we're going to put in over here an image. There we are. We're going to use the media library for this. I'm just going to use this beautiful picture of me. We can also add in some text. And then we go to the conditional block in here and we press on show current block, add new. We're going to show if the field never touch this switch is not empty. Then it's going to be shown. All right, press update. Now, if we just save this and then on the front end, when you hit the switch, you can see something conditional. So this way you can use conditional logic for anything you want to have inside of your form, because you can also hide it or show it if, and then use any question that you want. And then we have, of course, the text field, which you've already seen, the text area field, we've already covered that. The time field is basically like the date picker, but then only the time. And finally, the what you see is what you get field. If we add this and we press on save, then we see this entire field. Tell me more about yourself with 3 paragraphs, and now your visitors can change the styling inside of their answer. Really great. And then over here we have the JetForm elements, which enable you basically to create multi-step forms. Let me show you how that works. We have now a pretty big form created, and we can just change it into multi-steps. How to do that? Well, we're just going to add it in a heading field. So click on it, and then it's over here. I want it on the top, and then the heading should be. And then we have the name, email address, phone number, and order number. And then we're going to delete this question. And if we don't want to go to the next step, we go over here to use the form page break. Just drag and drop it and put it, for example, in here. Now, press save. Then we're going to create a new block, the heading field again. And maybe what you also want in this multi-step form is a progress bar on the top. Then you don't need to put in your numbers. So let's put in some easy questions. Then we have over here the progress bar. So we're just going to add it in over there. Well, we also need one over here. So let's get rid of this one. And then in here, we're also going to put in the progress bar in there. Just put it a little bit lower. There we are. And then we're going to scroll down, and then we're going to add in another page break. Just put it in over here. I want it over there. There we go. And then below that, another heading field. And just above that, a progress bar. There we go. And this is then the third one. And if you also want to add in a previous page, just click over here and enable this one, add previous page button. It's that easy. And then on the front end, my form looks like this. I have all this information, press on next. Then you can see this, go to the previous page, go to the next page. You can just switch between the different kind of pages. That's pretty nice. And of course, you need to style the buttons over here so they look exactly the same. Let's do some calculations. You can do this with any kind of field as long as you add values to them. And then we're going to add in another field, which will do some math for us. The first thing we're going to do is add in a switcher field. The default value is 0, and then the value for enabled switcher is 100 points. There we go. All right. Then we're going to add in a range field over here. Default value is 0, the minimum value is 0, and the max value is 100, and the steps should be 1. There we go. We're just going to save this also. Then we're going to add in a number field. That's over here. And the question will be, how much points would you like to give? And the default value is 0. The minimum value is then 50, and the max is 250, and step 1. Then if we want to make a calculation with these 3 fields, just add in over here the calculated field. There we are. And then the label. And then we're going to use some math to work with it. Now, if you want to learn everything about this calculation, you can follow all these links or press over here to go to the in-depth guide. And then you can learn anything there is about doing calculations and math within the Crocoblock system. But let me show you just the easiest way to do this. What do? You just go over here to this wrench, click on it, and there are all our fields. It's that easy. So then we're gonna hit this switch for 100 points, and then we're going to press on plus, and then we also want to have, for example, give me some points. I'm going to add in more points. How much points would you like to give? And that's basically it. You're gonna hit the switch. We can see 100 points. Give me some points. You can just use this one. And also this one manually. It's being calculated automatically. You can also, of course, use any kind of calculation there is within JetFormBuilder. Now, the last thing to do is when someone sends in your form, they need to receive a confirmation. How to do that? You can do multiple things. Go over here to the post submit actions, and you can, of course, your form will be saved inside of your website. But if you click on new action, we can do different kind of things. We can send them an email. That's what I'm going to show you right now. But you can also redirect them to a page that can be useful, like a thank you page or anything like that. Let's send them an email. First, we need to tell them where this email will be sent to. To your admin mail, that would be the next one. Email from submitted form field, or custom email. Let's do the email from submitted form field. Then the from field needs to be defined, so we're going to use the email address field. Then you can also use a carbon copy or blind carbon copy, but we don't need this on this form. And then what happens when a visitor hit that reply button in their mail client? They can send it to an admin email from submitted form field, or a custom email. Let's do custom, and they're gonna send it to the@wpressdoctor.com, which is my email address. All right, then we're going to change the subject. With a normal contact form, it should be something like the question has been received. Then the name that they will see in their email client, support white diamond, for example. Then enter in the from email address. Make sure that this is the same domain as your website within JetFormBuilder, or else it might get caught up in spam. In our case, this will be support@elementortutorial.website. Then we can change the content type from plain text, high deliverability, but it looks very old school, or HTML, and there is a chance that it will be caught in spam, but you can make rich text and images and your logo and all these things, which is pretty nice actually. Let's keep the auto formatting on, and we scroll down, we're going to add in some content. Remember, when you press on this wrench icon, you can use all the fields that are inside of your form. And that's very useful, especially when addressing your visitor. So I type in dear, and then I add in the name, something like this. And if you also want to add in a logo, well, there is a way for that. Just go over here and type in some HTML, like image, href, and then you have to put in the URL of your image. Then you go to your logo, press on copy URL to clipboard, and then we're just going to paste it in over there, for example, and make sure that the width is something like, I don't know, 200 pixels. And don't forget an alt text, of course. And then this should work. And then we can also add in an attachment that someone uploaded to your form. If you click on it, you can choose the right field. And we have created the upload a nice picture of yourself, but it's not needed for this reply. So I'm just going to keep it like this and press on update. And if you also want to receive an email as an admin, just press on new action, go to send email, choose mail to your admin email, or maybe a custom email address, something like support. And then when you click on reply, make sure that this one is the email from submitted form field. Because when you have your own website, the times that I hit reply and just send it to myself. So make sure that this is all right. Use the email address and then change the subject to something you will recognize in your email inbox, also in combination with your name. We're going to use the name. For example, name wants to get in touch, and then the from name should be something you also recognize. Contact form website, something like this. And then the email address should be the exact domain as this form is running on. Something like support@elementortutorial.website. Then you can make the context type exactly the way you want to have it. You can use HTML, plain text, and put in anything over here that you want. Now, the only thing they could really improve over here is that there is a macro we can use that says all fields, because we don't have that right now. I have to add in all these macros by hand individually, which is really time consuming. And it's completely not necessary. There has been a future request. It's still open. It has been submitted on June the 3rd, 2024. That's a year ago. Also, if I like to make this bold, I have to do it manual like this. Be bold. Basically what I want is a rich text editor. What you see is what you get just inside of this box. Such an easy thing. I think that would be possible to create. Well, let me add in everything over here. And maybe this time you do want to have the picture attached to this email that people have been filled in this form. So we're going to add it in over here and we press on update. Now the form entry will be saved over here and the email will be sent. You can also use some conditional logic in here, and it's just the same as normal conditional logic. So first we select and or, and if the greater than the field is how would you rate your good decision making, and if the operator is greater than 10, then I want to send them another email. We'll just create the email, add in the conditional logic, and it all works. Really excellent feature, those conditions and events. Before I'm going to upgrade to the Pro version, I just want to show you all the settings within JetFormBuilder. If we go over here on the left side, we can go to Settings. In the options, we can see a few things that I need to explain to you. For example, if you've created a big form like the multi-step and you're running into troubles, just enable the dev mode over here, and then errors from the form will be saved for you to see. So then we can debug our form and make sure everything works smoothly. Then there's also a very interesting feature, which is disable the next button. If this option is active, the next button of a multi-step form won't become clickable until all the required fields are completed. Very useful. I'm going to enable that one. Scroll to the top on the page change. It's logical because when you click on the next, you don't want to start in the middle of a form. You want to scroll up and from there fill every field. Automatic focus, of course, keep it on. And the forms request arguments, just keep them like there. You don't need to change that unless you're a developer. Then we go to the user journey. This is a very interesting new feature that we're going to demonstrate right now. If you enable this one, we can track the user's journey across the website. Then you can change the storage type, local or session. I would go with local. And then we can choose to clear the journey after submit, submit only, or success or failure. That's interesting. If you are interested in also failed entries and you want to know where did they come from, why didn't they finish the form, you can choose this one. And this will help you determine in your conversion optimization, what do I need to change or tweak on my website? Once we have enabled the user journey over here, we need to go back to our form. Then you go over here to post submit actions. Over here we have the same form record. Click on edit action. And then we're just going to enable the save user journey. That's it. Press update. Then save the form. And then if you want to see it, you go over here to form records. The advanced form has been sent in, but there was a validation error by guest. Press on view. And then we can see them. I would suggest to change the result per page to 50. If you have a lot of fields, this is way easier to see your entire form. And then we have the user journey. Let's also put this on 50. And then we can see what's going on. Someone came from the homepage, went to the contact us, back to the homepage, went to a product, went to the cart, went to some other page, we don't know which one, went back to the cart, checkout, and then it went to contact us and it didn't work, and then it did it again. That's very interesting. So now we can know exactly something is wrong in the checkout, and we can see by his question that he went through all the website, but he couldn't find the answer. So in this case, we need to answer the question of this person inside of the website on one of these pages. So this user journey feature is pretty great to have within your JetFormBuilder. Then we go over here to payment gateways. You can activate them if you're going to create different kind of forms where you need to pay something. That's useful, and once you have enabled it, you can use PayPal or in the Pro version Stripe. We're going to upgrade in just a second. Then we have the CAPTCHA settings. You can change it to another CAPTCHA. Maybe if hCaptcha doesn't work or you just want to change it, it's all possible in here. Then we also have the MailChimp API, so that you can automatically create your audience within MailChimp. That's also possible with GetResponse and ActiveCampaign. And if you want even more, that's all possible in the Pro version. To see those add-ons, click over here on add-ons. Let me just highlight a couple of them. PDF attachment, really great. You can generate a PDF with what the user fills into your form. Also, you can save your form progress, especially with long forms. This is very useful. Here you can also schedule your forms, can be useful in some cases. Connected with Mooseend, MailPoet, MailerLite. Then we can limit our form responses. Very interesting if you're going to do a giveaway or something like that, and you only want to have first 5 winners, for example. HubSpot integration. Then another one that is very interesting, the address autocomplete. We're going to try that in just a second. And last but not least, we have also a lot of other things, of course, but we also have the signature. It provides the ability for the user to draw a signature, so it can be saved as an image and later can be used as proof of identity. Very great if your users are going to sign a form on your website. All right. If you want to upgrade and you want to help me to keep creating these awesome free tutorials, go to wp.discount/JetFormBuilder. This link is also in the description and in the comments of this video. Thank you very much. I will be forever grateful. And then we have all these different pricing plans. Wow, this is really great. We also have a lifetime pro edition, because if you have multiple websites or use it for your clients, a lifetime license is always the best option. So I'm going to use this one. I press on checkout, then fill in all your information and accept the privacy policy agreement and press on next step. Well done, we're all set. I now have bought the Lifetime Pro license. I'm really happy with it, so I'm going to upgrade right now. Make sure to copy your license key over here. And then the next step is to go over here to your account. Upside of this system is that you can make your JetFormBuilder as big or extensive as you want, but you don't need to have all functionalities. So we're just going to download one of them. And once it's downloaded, we just go to our website. We don't need to download all of them manually. Then from here we go to plugins, add plugin, upload plugin and select the add-on we've just downloaded from JetFormBuilder and press install now. Then we're going to activate the plugin and then we go over here to JetFormBuilder, we go to add-ons. And now we can activate our license. Click over here, add in your license and press activate. And now our license has been updated, and the beautiful thing is we can just scroll down and just install any add-on we want from out here. So just press on install plugin, install add-on, and that's the beauty. You don't have to download and upload it manually each simple time. Just go over here and just install any add-on that you might want to have. And of course, don't forget to press on this activate button, and then they will work on your website. Once you have activated all these features, we can now go back to our forms and we can go to our advanced forms. One of the things I wanted to show you was how to enable PDFs. Well, you can just go over here to post submit actions, click on it. We can press on new action and over here we can now select the generate PDF. Click on it. There we go. We can just create a template or add a new template, which enables you to create the layout using Gutenberg. I was hoping to see this doing within Elementor because that's just way easier for me, but maybe it's coming in the next releases. I don't know, should be fun. Also in Crocoblock, it works, you can use it. Then we can make the file name to make it completely random or with the username inside of it. We can attach it to the send email action. There we go. Now it's also enabled, activated, so the PDF will be sent within the emails. Really nice. And finally, we can also change the messages. Well, great, press update. And now we have a new sent email. You can edit this one and you can see over here what it has been done. Generate PDF. Well, we already have the emails. So what you should do over here is just copy this one. And then we're going to delete this email because I already have it, delete. And we're going to change and send this email. And we're going to paste it in over here and we press enter on our keyboard. And now the attachment will be added to this email. Excellent, press update and now it will be sent. Great. Make sure that the generate PDF is just after save form record, or else the email will be first sent out and then the PDF generated. And that's not very logical. Then we've also installed the address autocomplete. So we press over here and we're going to search for the, oh, there it is, address autocomplete field. Just drag and drop it somewhere that we want. I think over here would be great. Then we have the label and we can choose from different kind of labels, but normally it's your location or your address. There we go. And then we need to make sure that it doesn't search throughout the entire world. So we're going to select only the countries that are allowed. So let's do the United States of America. Here we go. Only that one is allowed. And then you can also change the place types, geocode, address, establishment, or regions or cities. Well, I want to have your entire address. So that could be good. Press on save. But before this works on the front end, you need to go to settings. And then we go over here to the address autocomplete API. And then we need to get a Google Places API or else it doesn't work. To get that, click over here. And then we are here at the Google Cloud Services. Now make sure to create a new project. I am now in the WordPress charts and I have WooCommerce stocks, and let's create a new one, which is called Google Maps Elementor Tutorial. Sure, no location, why not? Press create. And then we go to search for the API called Geocoding API. There we go. And then we want this one, Geocoding API. Click on it, enable it. Then we need to sign in. Now remember, up to 10,000 calls per SKU are at no cost per month, but you have to pay if you use more than that. Then you add in your Google Places API over there, and when it's in there, the field will work. Then let's add another one, which is the signature field. I really like that. Go over here and type in the signature, and then we're going to drag and drop it somewhere over here. Why not? Put it in signature canvas preview. If I now hit save, I'm going to give it a name. Please sign here. We're going to save it. And then we scroll down a little bit, because if you want to use this signature, you can copy this one and place it inside your emails or in your generate PDF action. Just like that, put it in there and then it will work. And then on the front end, it looks like this, and you can just sign it or put in some nice picture. Then we also have the select autocomplete. If you now use the select field and drop it somewhere, you can also change some more things about it. So you can click on manage items, add new options, and we can switch to bulk editor. And here we can select all these different kind of things. 3 simple options, days, month, or even all the countries. That's all possible now. And if you press on update, for example, the countries, and let's change this one to country. And then we can also use autocomplete. There we are. And the minimum input length should be 2, for example. Then we press on save. And then over here we have the country. And then on the front end, we click over here. And then we type in one of more characters, for example, the EU. And then you just select any country you want. Then we have also the add-on limit form responses, and you can find that over here. Go to JetForm, and then we go over here to limit form responses. We can just limit it, for example, 500 people, and then the message will be something like this, and people will see it when they try to access the form. We have also the schedule form. You can just enable this one, select your date and time, or using the calendar, and then you can just publish it and set the date when it will be closed. You have also a pending message, text to display instead of the form, and the expired message once it has already been expired. Then we've also enabled the add-on to save progress. It's over here, form progress, save it, and then you can also clear saved form data. Press on save. Now you won't see this on the front end in terms of a button, but when you fill out the form and you go to visit some other page inside the same tab and you return to the form, everything is being saved and you can continue where you left off. Pretty useful. If you have a question, just drop it down in the comments. I'll always reply. And of course, like and subscribe if you want to see more of my channel. And by the way, if you want to learn how to create this beautiful e-commerce website, follow this tutorial and I'll show you step by step how to create this amazing e-commerce tutorial using Elementor Pro and WooCommerce. Hope to see you in the next video.